Welcome to the Roofing Business Growth Circle with Jacques Skuteeki, the go-to 15-minute power session for roofers who want more profit, better projects, and marketing that actually works. In each episode, you'll hear fast, practical ideas from real roofers and suppliers that can plug straight into your business and grow your bottom line. Now, get ready to level up your roofing business with your host, Jacques Skuteeki.
Today, we're getting into something most roofing companies avoid: planning. A lot of owners are stuck reacting all day instead of actually controlling where the business is going, where their business is going. Episode 6 today is about strategic planning. And Willard, why does that happen?
You know, there's an old saying that people do not plan to fail, they fail to plan. And so true in business. You know, when we start a business and God willing, everything goes great, we end up being in a completely reactive mode, just taking care of the businesses coming in rather than thinking strategically about where we want to go.
So why do most roofing companies operate in a reaction mode?
Well, you know, it's that thing of, again, when you first start out, you got an idea. We talked about this in one of our first episodes. Phase one is your business is just an idea. You might have worked for somebody else and you decided, well, you know what? I could be doing this myself and making more money. Or you could be in some other industry and decide this is your passion. You like being out there swinging a hammer. Then you make your first sale. And then your first sale leads to your second sale. And that idea becomes something real. All of a sudden the business is growing and you probably didn't really even plan for it. Or if you did, you do what most people do around New Year's. You write up your list of goals of what you want, and then you set it down and you don't look at it again until the following New Year's. So you end up being reactive rather than planning and thinking about things strategically or tactically.
So what does planning give an owner that hustle will never,
Focus.
or will that hustle never will?
Focus. You know, hustling is great for generating revenue, but we're talking about growing a business. And to do that, you've got to have a North Star that you're focused on. Whether that is revenue numbers, whether that is number of new jobs, whether that is number of employees, you've got to have a North Star you're focused on, and you've got to have a plan on how you're going to get there. Otherwise, you just chase revenue for the rest of your life, and you feel like a dog chasing a bone.
And why do cash flow problems usually show up long after the mistake was made?
Because most of the time, people are paying attention to what's called the lagging indicator. The lagging indicator is the revenue, the number. You know, the leading indicator is, what am I doing to get there? How many calls am I making? How many meetings am I having? How many jobs are my crew focusing on? What's the time that they are spending on those jobs? How can we make sure that we're more efficient, we're more effective, we're more strategic? If you're just chasing the number, you're not paying attention to anything other than what's in the bank account at the end of the month. So the problem, again, as you said, the mistake's already been made when the problem becomes apparent. But if you've got a strategy and a plan in place, you're seeing when you're starting to go off course.
So why do owners focus on revenue instead of activities that create revenue?
Because that's what we've been taught. We've been taught that the goal is the finish line. And it is. The finish line is where we want to get to. But it's every step in the race that ends up getting you to the goal. You know, if you're in a foot race, it matters as much as how quickly you come out of the block and how your stance is coming out of the block and those first few steps. It matters as much there to whether you cross the finish line first or not. If you don't start out correctly, if you're not making micro adjustments as you're going, you're going to cross the finish line, but are you going to cross it the way that you want to? And again, most of us have just been focused on, you must win, you must win. Okay, well, how do I build a plan that I can execute to let me know if I'm on the right track to win or whether I'm running the wrong direction? I don't know. Are you a football fan at all, Jacques?
Not really.
Okay. There was a very famous video that was going around. Sadly, it related to my favorite team, where there was a game that was going on and the guy ran to the wrong end zone to score.
Lovely.
He scored, but in the wrong end zone and for the wrong team. You got to know where you're going. You have to be able to adjust.
You know, like we're having these conversations over the last couple of episodes, and everything on its own makes sense. Like
Yep.
very often we talk about things that we didn't know that we didn't know, but then it all makes sense, right? So at the end of the day, it really looks like a bowl of spaghetti for the business owner. Like they're getting information overload. Everything is good. Some of the stuff they don't connect to, some of the stuff, oh my God, I didn't know that I didn't know. Yeah, that's great. And then they get off these episodes and going to say, there's 17 things here to do.
Yeah.
So I guess this is to make it simple. If they start working with somebody like you, what does the first 90-day plan look like? And how can it really help them get control?
Well, we actually reverse engineer it. And I agree with you that, we're dumping a lot of information in short recordings. We're giving you all of the steps. Work with us and we will help you put those steps in order into a proven system that you can execute. Right now, we're just helping make you aware of the things that you might not have thought of before. But even in the answer to the question of the 90-day plan, I don't look at the first 90 days. I start out with, what's your 3-year vision? Be the business owner, not the guy chasing the revenue. What do you want your business to look like 3 years from now? How much revenue do you want to be generating at that point? How many guys do you want to have on the team? How many trucks do you want to have? How many jobs do you want to be doing? Because if you give me that vision, now we can work backwards towards it. When we get clear on what that 3-year vision is, then we go, okay, great. To get to that 3-year vision, what must happen in the next 12 months to get the momentum and to be on track for that happening? Now we're starting to get that focus down a little bit. And we lay out your annual goal, your annual plan. And then we reverse engineer that again. And we say, okay, to get there, what has to happen in the next 90 days and the 90 days after that? Let's look at the quarters. And then we just want you focusing on this 90-day sprint. We're looking at the outcome, the distance. We're looking at the finish line. We're bringing it back a little bit to go, okay, where do I need to be about mid-race? Now, what do I need to do right now coming out of the starting block? And then you're focused on that 90 days and you're going, what are the top 3 to 5 objectives that I must focus on every day? Not that I'm going to put 100% of my effort in it, but while all these other things are coming up and I'm putting out this fire and I'm taking care of this problem and I'm closing this sale, I need to have front of mind, here are 3 to 5 things that I must keep the ball moving forward on. And every week you're sitting down and you're looking at those 3 to 5 things going, what do I do this week that moves this forward? If you put that focus in, the probability that you are going to hit that 3-year vision is extremely, extremely high. But if you set aside that plan and you don't pay attention to the 90 days, you'll never hit the 3-year vision.
And why does trying to fix everything at once backfire?
Oh man, you only have so much bandwidth. And when you're trying to fix everything at one time, you are not stacking things on top of each other. There are certain things that need to be taken care of first before you can do other things. You have to fix the problem with the leads that are coming in your follow-up before you can worry about fixing the rest of the parts of your sales process. If you're just going, I need more leads, but you haven't fixed qualification, you haven't fixed transaction, you haven't fixed closing, what good does more leads come in? You're bleeding money. You need to make sure that the foundation is strong before you build the next thing.
And what changes when an owner tracks a few key numbers weekly instead of guessing?
Everything changes. Everything changes. There's a saying that you can only improve what you measure. If you're not measuring it, you don't know to course correct. There's a great analogy. I If you haven't flown to Hawaii listening to this, you may want to, but there's an analogy. A plane that's flying from LAX to Honolulu is off course 97% of the time. If it was not paying attention to the instruments, because the wind shifting, the earth moving, all these things, if they were not paying attention to their numbers, they would never be able to land on that island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's the same thing with your business. If you're not measuring those key numbers weekly, you're going to be completely off track at the end of the year going, well, how'd this happen? It happened because you weren't paying attention. You abdicated and just figured everything would work out fine.
So, as a business owner, how different does a storm season feel when they're planned instead of just scrambling when it happens?
Well, back to what we were talking about earlier, when you've got that 3-year vision and then you look at your annual plan, I'm willing to bet that you can look at history or you can talk to other owners and go, you know what? These 3 months are pretty much always a slow season. So you build your plan around it. You build your plan to say, okay, during these peak seasons, I am going to bring on more team members, more crews, so we can get more done. And then when this season's slow, I am going to fill that season with working on my systems, working on repairing the trucks. You're going to allocate team and revenue based on what's happening in that season. Slow seasons will happen, but are you maximizing them? Are you taking that time to go, you know what? Right now, the season's slow. This is when I need to start connecting with other businesses to make strategic alliances with, because the other season we were too busy to do it. Let's focus on making new connections during the slow season. You start having a strategy to navigate those rather than panicking when they come up.
And if somebody wants clarity instead of constant urgency, putting out fires, what's the first step?
First step is to take a very deep breath and stop living in the chaos. Stop living in the owner dependency that you've heard us talk about. Step back, take a weekend, do something to unplug. Take an afternoon if you can't take a weekend, because some of you can't. Take an afternoon and sit down with a pen and paper or a recording device and just start asking yourself, what can this business be? What did I start this business to become? And I suggest you look at a 3-year vision. Don't say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. 3 years from now, what would have to happen for me to be happy with the progress? And the reason I say 3 years is that business runs in 18-month cycles. By the time you've gone through 2 cycles, everything has changed. The economy's changed, the market's changed, your own business has changed. You try and build a 10-year plan, you're going to get lost. Just 3 years from now, and just go. What do I want this business to be 3 years from now? Start there and then start working it backwards. That's the first thing to get the clarity and to step away from the urgency. Have a vision, have a goal of what you're wanting to do, and not just some pie in the sky goal, something that's real, something that's achievable. That's the first step.
Love it. Very, very inspiring. So, if you're constantly reacting, it doesn't mean you're working hard. It means you're missing structure. Even simple planning can give you clarity and control faster than most people expect. Willard, thanks for sharing your knowledge. And I'm sure that listening to this show, I mean, definitely you're bringing up so many ideas. And as we talked earlier, I mean, you're also touching all these pain points sometimes that we don't know. And now they're there and saying, yeah, that I can connect to that idea. I can connect to that challenge. So again, thank you so much for being so insightful. And there's more to come. Have a good day.
If you're serious about winning, don't stop here. Visit roofingbusinessgrowthcircle.com and unlock our resource vault featuring valuable free tools, guides, and resources from our guest speakers. Listen to more episodes of the podcast and book a Beat Your Competition strategy call with Jacques. Until next time, keep raising the bar in your roofing business.